James McMurtry, welcome back to eTown. So glad you're here. We've been doing this for a little while. I'm pretty sure the first time...
yeah, I have officially attained geezer status, so yeah, I have been doing it quite a while, yeah.
I'm a little older than you, and I believe we've been... I think the first time you were on eTown was probably almost 30 years ago. It's been a while.
I believe it was 92, and Baxter Black was on that show.
Yeah, so look at that. A little more than 30 years ago, yeah. And Baxter Black, the late Baxter Black, was on that show.
And I rode in his limousine that he owned, which he bought used.
Yeah. Goes to show you that there's all kinds of money in cowboy poetry, even when nobody knew. Speaking of poetry, I'm just still so amazed, and you make it all look so easy. That last song, "Let It Bleed," "If It Bleeds," great chorus, great sentiment. Save your prayers for yourself. You know, time is precious, and you might as well go for it. And everybody's welcome, but don't expect much from you to conform, and you're not expecting others to conform.
Yeah, I was just trying to get enough words for a song to finish a record. So,
speaking of enough words, I also am amazed that you can remember all the words.
Sometimes I don't.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's pretty dramatic sometimes.
Yeah.
But you get through it. You know,
yeah.
It's all right.
Blank slate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to mention a performance that you made last year that was a combination, because your songs always have depth to them. There's always more to them than, that's revealed on multiple listenings, and at least for me. And last year, you gave a performance in Knoxville, Tennessee, where you added an element of danger by going out and wearing fishnet stockings and a red dress.
Well, see, Tennessee had this stupid anti-drag law, which I never get. I don't get it. It's just like fascism tries to single out anybody they can, kind of outnumber. And so they go after the drag queens, and the thing is, they always link it to children. It's like the drag queens are after your kids, and I don't get that at all, because if you look up the registry of registered sex offenders, you're not going to find a lot of drag performers among that. They tend to gravitate. Pedophiles gravitate towards jobs that have access to children and the inherent trust of the parents. So they go for stuff like clergy, little league coaching, that sort of thing. You know. And I'm not saying they're all that way, but I do know a lawyer in South Louisiana who made a career out of defending priests. So
So you were you were making a very logical point, which is like, hey, this is not where the problem is. So
well, that's another thing about those drag shows. Those things will fill a club.
Yeah.
Drag shows and tribute bands. I got nothing against either of them, because those things will keep the clubs going. So when I come through needing a gig, the club will still exist.
That's right.
They can make payroll, So, so I figure, if I don't stick up for the drag queens, who's going to stick up for me when they come for me? First they came for the drag queens, and I said nothing because I was not a drag queen. So whatever. So we did that show in Knoxville, and one guy, we just did the encore in drag. Betty Sue and I, and one guy got real upset and went out on the street. I heard this from the staff later. He went out on the street and flagged down a policeman and tried to get him to come in and arrest us. And the cop just shrugged and walked off. He had better things to do.
Yeah. Well, it was a point that needed to be made, and you were the guy to do it. And so thank you for doing that.
Well,
and
you're welcome.
Yeah, no, it's important. What's your other, We Can't Make It Here Anymore? Is that a song of yours? Yeah.
That was a song of mine. Well, I guess it still is.
Still is, yeah. As a guy who is, I get the feeling that you have a strong work ethic. You like to go out, you like to work, you like to play music and make songs and make records and tour and play shows and do all that stuff, or at least you do it consistently.
And then I get home and I do nothing.
Yeah. So the balance works out.
Yeah.
But, have there been situations where being a guy from Texas, people have expectations about your persona that your songwriting works against. Like people get pissed off because of things you say or write in a song.
Sure, but if I don't anger some people, I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
If you want to be a cheerleader, you can do that. But if you want to be anything like an artist, you're going to have to piss people off. It's just how it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen, you do it so well, and like I said, you do.
I have noticed.
Yeah. You piss people off beautifully. Yeah. I do think that that the fact that you can remember the volume of lyrics that you've written is just so impressive. Especially, I'm a little older than you, so I mean, I have a hard time. I have a hard time remembering my friends' names sometimes, let alone lyrics to songs. But
Well, I can't remember names. But
yeah. The song.
like I was saying, John. I mean, anyway.
We've got a bunch of songs to get to, and I know that you've been traveling. I saw your show with your full band not long ago, just last year at the Boulder Theater, which was a big rock and roll show. It was great. I know you've been traveling with Betty Sue as a duo, kind of down a little closer to the bone.
We're just starting in the duo thing. She's been opening shows for us for a good while, and she really makes things better. I don't know. So so we've been around each other. We're starting to do a little bit of music together.
Yeah, we feel the same way. So we asked her to actually do a couple songs later on in the show, and I know she'll be out with your second set. But meanwhile, we're so glad you're here, and
Thank you.
Let's
Thanks
get back to playing some music. Welcome back, if you would, James McMurtry. Thanks, man.